In the Archie book, they talked about listening for analysis, listening for comprehension, and listening for relaxation. I want to go a little bit deeper into that, and I want to start looking at passive listening, attentive listening, and then active listening, which we're really going to be talking about in depth throughout this course. Passive listening is when you're just taking the information in without processing or enhancing it. So how you'd sit in a lecture, and to a certain extent what you're doing right now, just listening to me talk. For those who are attentive listening, you're starting to make assumptions about the message I'm giving you and starting to fill in the gaps and going, okay, what have I read? What do I know already that can kind of give me more context to tell me about what Nathan's going on about? Finally, there's active listening, and hopefully you're doing heaps of this in the Scrum so far. It's a two-way process which involves attention, clarification, and message processing. We're talking back and forth, we're asking questions, we're starting to understand what the other person has to say, and we're developing on their message. Active listening is one of the most important skills that you're going to need heading into the workforce, because in order to know what you're wanting to be doing, you're going to need to ask some questions. So when your manager's speaking to you, by active listening, you're starting to show them that you're concerned in what they're saying. It leads to getting better information, because if you're not sure about a particular area, you can ask questions about it. I'll give you an example about this. When I was working at Accenture, I was given a particular project which really I just didn't understand. And if I wasn't active listening, I would have walked out of that room with a project and not known what I would needed to do. Instead, I started to ask questions. I started to fill in some gaps and started to understand, okay, maybe that's related to another area I've touched on. Are you talking about this? I paraphrased again and again and again, and until finally we're on the same wavelength and we knew what was going on. Active listening encourages further communication because it's back and forth. You're starting to develop a relationship and enhance it. It can also calm someone down who's upset, listening to what they're having to say, listening to their opinions, what's going on in their mind and in their role. It invites others to listen to you because you're actively listening to them, and it leads to better cooperation and problem solving as you're starting to understand the material, the problem at a deeper level. By improving our listening skills, we can improve performance levels. By improving our individual listening skills, this leads to higher levels of employee responsiveness. We get a clearer understanding of what the organisational issues are and increased employee commitment to quality because they know what they're doing. By improving our managerial listening skills, we can raise performance through responsiveness and through creative problem solving. Now, there's a lot of stuff on this slide, and I just want to touch on a few key points in here. Show interest in and be sincere in listening. So by actively listening, you're starting to show interest in the other party. You're showing interest in what they're saying and what their message they're trying to get across. Paraphrase. Say it in different ways, making sure that what you think it is, they think it is as well. Avoid distractions, so avoid talking something else, looking at what else is out the window, or if you've got notes in front of you, use direct eye contact so you're looking at them and using appropriate body language, which we'll talk about in the next series of videos. Don't interrupt, and take notes where necessary to help you retain information. Don't judge or argue prematurely. Wait until their message is across, that you understand the entire thing, and then you can rebut it. Paraphrase again, I made it very clear, I put it in there twice. Give feedback, be able to engage in the conversation, and remember, don't talk too much, making sure that you are listening to what they have to say.